So The Miz is on a big press tour. I think it's to hype up the fact that WrestleMania 42 tickets went on sale this week. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but the tickets for next year's WrestleMania in Vegas are on sale now. So they have The Miz going around and doing all of these media outlets all over Vegas to get the town ready. And he did an interview with a gentleman named Adrian Hernandez, who does a really, really great job getting wrestling content together and doing great interviews and everything. He's good. But he interviewed The Miz, and he talked to The Miz about the fact that John Cena versus AJ Styles, what we were talking about yesterday, is official. You know, he got The Miz down and said, now that you're here, what do you think about this? This is breaking news. John Cena versus AJ Styles is official. And I thought The Miz's response was very, very interesting. He's mad that it's not him. And I think The Miz feels a certain way. If The Miz feels a type of way about WrestleMania 27. And the fact that, and you know, we talked about it literally yesterday, about the fact that he is still mad at me for discrediting WrestleMania 27 as my least favorite WrestleMania of all time. But I think in a very real way, The Miz believes that beating John Cena in a WWE Championship match in the main event of WrestleMania should be one of those forever stats. And because of whatever it is, because of the surroundings around it, because of the way people felt about it, it isn't something that people really highlight. You don't hear, you hear The Miz, when The Miz even does get credit, he gets credit for, oh, this guy can do it all. Oh, this guy's been around forever. Oh, this guy, it takes forever before anybody gets to the point. He did beat John Cena at WrestleMania. And truth be told, he got knocked out cold. He doesn't remember the match. He beat John Cena and finished the match winning at WrestleMania 27 without any sort of semblance of, he was loopy while he was doing it. And I think that buried in all this, there's a real frustration that The Miz feels, and I would argue probably rightfully so, that he doesn't really get credit for beating John Cena at WrestleMania 27. And when you bring up John Cena WrestleMania matches, I mean, it's so far down the list on most people's lists. You're bringing up everybody that John Cena either beat or was beaten by, but The Miz doesn't get credit for it. And maybe that's because The Miz was early in The Miz's career. Maybe that's because The Rock's presence overshadowed it, for better or worse. But I think that he's right. And I would imagine that for somebody like The Miz, it's like, hey, I've been here forever. I'm not even a consideration. I'm not even brought up. When we talk about John Cena's rivalries, when we talk about opponents that John Cena could have, I mean, don't you think the name should be in there? And I also love the quick spin on it, right? This isn't blasting management. This is actually staying in character, because he says this match is made because the WWE universe, the WWE's fan base, was vocal about wanting John Cena versus AJ Styles. And again, can't sue him for slander. I was on this show. I was on my podcast. I was everywhere I could be saying John Cena versus AJ Styles is the match. And I wasn't alone in saying that. But I like that, like, the blame now goes to the fans. So The Miz kind of centers back into his heeldom. And also, that's not to say it's not truthful. I think it's an everything counts scenario. I am getting immediate flashbacks to Talking Smack, literally one of the greatest television segments ever, when The Miz confronted Daniel Bryan and said, I'm a coward, and put it right back in Bryan's face and spoke from the heart to the camera, these moments where it feels real. Like The Miz can say, okay, I get it. I've been a punchline for some people for a decade, but guess what? Most of those people couldn't go 5 years. I've been here the entire time, nonstop. I've been a part of every era, every moment, everything you can think of. And who is still, to this day, dependable? When it's time to get Carmelo Hayes over, who do you call? When it's time to get this new guy over, who do you call? When you need a commercial, Who do you call? Every time it's The Miz. He still has that after all these years, and to be that consistent is next to impossible in a world like professional wrestling. Seeing that, seeing The Miz, and the way that he responded to it, and the way that he went back, because I feel like The Miz is at his best when he is truly, when he keys into, oh, you hit a real frustration, like, oh, you hit a real nerve, and then he just lets it spew. And he lets all of his feelings out. And he's professional enough that he points those feelings in the proper place. But he lets all of them out, and the message becomes clear, and it becomes impossible not to rally behind this. When The Miz had that segment on Talking Smack and came off of it and had the run that he had with the Intercontinental Championship, I remember at the time in 2016, I said The Miz has another WWE title run in him. Give him the ball now. The Miz in that moment could have been the top heel on SmackDown. Absolutely. You will never convince me otherwise. That was the moment for The Miz. And he didn't get to become, he had a run, but he did not get to become the top heel on SmackDown in that moment. To me, yesterday, I was on here and I was saying, the thing that's beneficial, you could talk about, putting over the young guys, this guy getting the John Cena match, that guy getting the John Cena match, but the thing that's beneficial about AJ Styles getting the John Cena match is win or lose, it's AJ's opportunity to remind people of who AJ Styles is. It's AJ's opportunity to remind people of what he's truly capable of, because I believe when AJ Styles is in there with somebody like John Cena, it's going to bring out the best in both of them. But can you imagine, after Crown Jewel, either in Boston or in New York, because the more it feels like, you could go all the way to Survivor Series, but if you're talking about doing you got 4 appearances after Australia, I think there is one play is to do a match in every city that you're in going forward. So we get 5 matches left. And if you're going to do a match in every city going forward, if you are not going to follow up on the Brock Lesnar match, if the Brock Lesnar match was Brock Lesnar crushes John Cena, and that's what the match is, and that's the story, and we're moving on, well, then the precedent that you have set is that we're not telling stories over the course of weeks or months. We're telling a story for the night. Brock Lesnar, John Cena did not have a story leading into WrestlePalooza. Brock surprised John Cena at SummerSlam. Never was there ever any indication of exactly why he's doing it. It was just that he decided to do it. And then they had the match and Brock Lesnar won. And if that's the way we're going, that's fine. That's the way we're going. Same with AJ Styles. Fans wanted it. John Cena brought it up on Twitter. Triple H made the match. Now we're going with AJ Styles. If that's the way we're going, I've got to tell you, the same way I said you could, I think both Raw appearances, you can start those appearances with a promo in the ring that leads to a match in the main event. And I truly believe, after Crown Jewel, whether you do it in Boston or whether you do it at Madison Square Garden, I think if John Cena opens the show and The Miz comes out to talk to John Cena and The Miz confronts John Cena, as he said on this Adrian Hernandez interview, he has said to John Cena backstage every time he's seen him, 6 more, 5 more, 4 more. He's being polite, but he's letting him know, I want one of these spots. And apparently you're not even considering it. And then he points that energy into the audience, who's probably going to start cheering because The Miz is going to do well. Don't start cheering. You guys did me no favors. Not one of you asked for this match. Not one of you, because they're listening. And they didn't put it on the cards. Did you forget what I'm capable of? Did you forget what I've done? It's not just a matter of potential. It's a matter of what I've done. And I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this spot. I think The Miz could cut one of these promos that just brings us right back here to this Talking Smack promo that just reminds everybody when The Miz decides to be like, yeah, all storylines aside, here's how I'm feeling right now. Here's what the truth is. That's when he's at his absolute best. And I think you do a Miz promo like that, right in John Cena's face on an episode of Raw, and it builds to John Cena versus The Miz, first of all, nobody's turning off Raw. Everybody's watching the entire show because they're going to wait to see that Miz-Cena match. The Miz-Cena match on that night is going to feel huge. And then again, just like AJ Styles, you have the opportunity with The Miz. You've now reestablished The Miz as a top-tier player. The reason everybody gets excited about The Miz versus John Cena is because over the course of one promo, The Miz has reminded everybody that he is also in a different kind of GOAT conversation. The same way AJ Styles is in a GOAT conversation, John Cena is in a GOAT conversation, Miz is in a GOAT conversation. And if he can remind you of that in a promo, and if he can make you believe that in one promo, and I completely believe that The Miz can, because in 20 seconds on this interview, he took me as a fan, he took me right back in 20 seconds. If you had asked me yesterday, when I was saying John Cena and The Miz, when I was saying John Cena matches, if Susumu, if AJ, if one of you guys have a caller, 877-344-4893, if one of you guys had said, what about John Cena and The Miz? And you had asked me that before I saw this interview, I'd go, I mean, I get it, but you've only got 4 dates after this. I don't know if you want to do John Cena and The Miz. I don't know if that... Today, if you're asking me after this interview, I say undoubtedly. I think that's something, that's a narrative that should be pushed out there. That on one of these shows, a John Cena versus Miz match should absolutely go there. And like I said, we get excited for the match because we remember that The Miz is that guy. And that means after the match, win or lose, we should still have that memory of the fact that The Miz is that guy. Which means that just like AJ Styles, you could come off, if the promo was good, and I believe the promo would be great. If the match was good, and I believe the match would be good. If you come off of all that, then you should absolutely be able to repurpose The Miz into a high-ranking, high-achieving character. That all that energy should transfer onto The Miz. It's not just young guys that benefit from situations like this. It's not just young guys that get put over. Guys that have been around forever, sometimes need that jolt, sometimes need to get that reminder. Or give that reminder to the audience. And I think that would happen with The Miz. And if John Cena can leave, and when he leaves the WWE, Brock is unstoppable, AJ Styles is in a better place, The Miz is in a better place, he could do a Dominic Mysterio match, like that, if that's what he leaves behind him, and then at the end, somebody like a Drew McIntyre beats him, well then I think mission accomplished. You know, it's not about like bringing guys up from NXT and then they get a John Cena victory that they're not ready to take advantage of anyway. It's about the fact that John Cena leaves, and then when the Royal Rumble shows up, AJ Styles enters the Royal Rumble. And we can legitimately say, wouldn't it be cool if AJ Styles won the Rumble? The Miz enters the Royal Rumble. And we legitimately say, man, 27 was 15 years ago. Wouldn't it be amazing if The Miz goes back to WrestleMania? Wouldn't it be amazing if The Miz won the Royal Rumble? I'm not saying that we think that he will. I'm saying that it becomes a conversation where it's all possible. And then you even have those like generations, right? Where it's like you've got the generation of like The Miz and AJ Styles and those guys that were the previous main eventers that are now elevated. You've got the current crop of main eventers, and it's interesting because Punk kind of floats in between those two, but Punk is a current main eventer, as is, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre and all those guys. And then you have your future main eventers. So you have the opportunity to have all these levels of superstars in different places, which is why I think, that sort of open-mindedness of who John Cena's final opponents should be there. And why, I will tell you, in 20 seconds of this interview that The Miz did, he's completely sold me on the idea that The Miz should be one of John Cena's final opponents.